Hello snowboarders of the internet, I am your host TC, and today I will be reviewing the new Ride drone. If you're interested in this binding or any other bindings that I mentioned in this video, make sure you're going down in that description and clicking those affiliate links so you don't have to go searching the internet for yourself. I rode these bindings at Copper Mountain where it was a warmer sunny day, but it was extremely windy, so the snow never truly softened up that much where you could still lay an edge into it, but you definitely knew that there was a firm, crusty layer underneath it. I mean, we hadn't gotten snow in like a week or two at this point, so it was definitely firm. It was definitely just that overworked snow that it's like, this is getting really brick out here, but overall, still a good day. I used my Ride Fuse boots and my Jones Stratos snowboard. On this binding, they pretty much kept it what they had on the previous generation of the bindings, where I know this one is new, but it's still kind of built on a similar chassis to what it used to be. So we'll just get right into it and you guys can see if there's any differences for yourself. When you need to adjust the heel cup here, you got a screw on each side, which is gonna be this little guy. Just back that out and you can slide it forward. It will tell you like what boot size they're kind of recommending here for it, but it will definitely change depending on your boot. If you have a big chonky boot or if you have a smaller boot, just kind of use that as a gradual reference, not like this is what it is because this is what my boot says. That's not how it works. You can adjust the Highback rotation on here. You'll actually have to pretty much take this, unscrew it until it's almost fully out, and then you can actually slide it back and forth to get this thing rotated. You can, I don't recommend doing it, but hey, if you like it, go for it, whatever. You can also adjust the forward lean by pretty much that standard flip tab system. Flip it down, slide this down, flip it back up, and you're all good to go. You could change that on the fly, zero problems there. And you can adjust the strap length just by doing the same thing, that flip tab system. So you can flip that, slide it, do whatever, that's on you. Pretty much to get those things centered. Where you can also slide the footbed back and forth. If you do get that pesky toe or heel drag, you can adjust it, kind of push that thing out a little bit more, ramp that toe up. And you will have a disc in there that you can use to micro adjust your stance. Since you do have a movable heel cup, you can get that stance just perfectly dialed in with how you like it. Now when we're talking straps, you'll notice this is very different from anything else in the line. This ankle strap is absolutely massive, but you'll notice it's not padded. That's not a problem whatsoever because they did add this exoskeleton on the outside. So with how big and how much volume this ankle strap has, it provides a lot of support to it. It felt very comfortable, maybe one of my favorite straps that they've ever made. I mean, I loved the C9 strap when they had that padding, but this thing felt just as comfortable as that strap did, which I absolutely loved. And it's super responsive, toe to heel, provides a really good amount of support laterally as well because you do have like so much material on the outsides here. It works very well for keeping you in. I didn't have any problems with pressure points or anything like that on it. So overall, an amazing strap on the ankle. And I mean, if you guys need something super comfortable, you might want to look elsewhere, but if you just are looking for something that's pretty comfortable, this would definitely be a good strap with good response to it. As we move down to the toe straps here, it can be rocked over the toe or on top. I'd pretty much split the day 50-50 just to see if I could see pretty much if anything was wrong with it or if I had any movement. I didn't. It felt great doing either or. I prefer to rock it on top. It just felt nice and comfortable there. But when I rocked it over the toe, you do have this rubber on the inside, so it is going to hold really well. And it fit my square toe box extremely well. And the way they've cut it now, I believe it will fit rounded toes a little bit better because on the previous version on that C8 or even A8 version, I noticed sometimes it would try to fall down. Wasn't the greatest toe strap, but they've definitely improved it on this one to pretty much make it nice and comfortable without really any pressure points. I had zero problems with it, but overall, two great straps on here. And as I mentioned before, flip tab to adjust them. You're all good to go there. When we're talking ratchets, they are solid. They are the same ones that have been on the previous models, previous generations. There's nothing new about these. They pretty much have minimal play in them, but they grip the ladders really well. Even when I'm trying to get that last click in, I had zero problems with them stripping ladders or eating away at the teeth there. They're just overall solid ratchets, really nothing to write home about. You do have a little bit bigger of a release on it, so it is easy to get in and out of. And I mean, if you wear mittens like I do, there is quite a bit of movement up top here on that release, so feel free, you can get your finger in there, get your thumb in there, it'll release for you, no problems. While I have you here, you might as well like, subscribe, click that bell, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss any of our scheduled programming. If you're like me and the first thing you notice when you look at this binding is you're like, wow, that Highback looks very familiar. It almost is pretty much an identical twin to that old rodeo Highback with new tech in it. So they kind of thinned it out and gave it a little bit different flex points to it, where it's nice and responsive down low because you do have thicker material down here, but up top, it's still gonna allow you to tweak and pretty much press into things without feeling totally locked into this thing. They did provide a lot of padding back here, so I didn't have any problems with biting into the back of my calf or anything like that. It was nice and comfortable. And as I mentioned before, you do have that flip tab on here, so flip it down, get that forward lean going, flip it back up. If you come to an impromptu race, you can do it on the fly there. And you also can rotate the Highback, as I mentioned before. Just unscrew these straps a little bit. It'll kind of give you a little extra room. You can twist that thing around, screw them back in. You're good to go there. Overall, a nice solid Highback. I love that they gave it that old look of the rodeo Highback because that was one of their best bindings that they've ever made. And I'm glad that they brought it back to here with a little bit new tech, a little bit more feature to it now. I was very surprised with how this binding actually flexed. Because it does have an aluminum chassis on it, I figured it was gonna ride like pretty much all the other aluminum chassis like they've had in the past, where it's gonna be super rigid laterally, kind of squeeze that boot, not allow a lot of lateral play to it. But they've actually changed the game with this one, where you do have this huge urethane gasket underneath that is still gonna allow this binding to roll freely. I've done this, you guys don't have to do this because I already took care of it for you. I peeled this back a little bit just to see. It is a rolled chassis under there. So it is gonna allow this binding to get a little bit of extra lateral play, like when you're ollieing or just tweaking or pressing into stuff. It's gonna allow a little bit of roll there where it's not gonna be super just board breaker, where it's got that sheer just cut off on it, snapping boards, that sort of thing. Not gonna happen with this guy. The straps do allow for a little bit of lateral play as well as the Highback, but not as much as I really expected because of how big these things are and kind of how wide this Highback is and how well it actually holds lower. It doesn't allow a whole lot, but you'll still get that roll to it where you don't have to really work super hard to get it to roll, but there is still some decent flex there. And toe to heel wise, I mean, it's an aluminum chassis, so this thing's not gonna have any flex that way where you're feeling pure response toe heel. But as I'll reiterate, laterally, you are getting a little bit of flex. Don't expect to have it be like an Ultra or a District, but you know, it's still gonna have some play to it where it's not just full foot clamps on you and you're not going anywhere. I know you guys are super interested on how this thing rides because it is that aluminum chassis. You're probably thinking like, hey, it's just got that classic ride A-series vibe to it where you're like, not gonna be the dampest thing out there, gonna send a lot of vibrations through your back, through your legs. Actually not the case. This urethane pad is amazing on it. Like, it felt nice and damp because you have this pad mixed with this thick foam footbed. It really cuts down on shatter really well. Like, it kind of rode to me like it was an actual like C-series binding from them, but it had the response of that A-series to it. So it felt nice and damp, but still had some lively tendencies because you do have an aluminum chassis after all. So it felt nice and responsive in that sense, but still cut down on all those vibrations like you usually feel out of the A-series bindings, which I was super happy with. Like, this is probably my favorite A-series binding that they've come out with, which I've ridden them all. I've ridden them all in the past. I've ridden each version of them, and this one has just felt the best to me. Normally that A series is made for a bigger guy that needs the extra support. You know, they're hard on stuff, they break stuff, and normally you gotta sacrifice one for the other. Not in this case. This thing is nice and damp, but it's still nice and responsive. So if you are on that bigger side or anything like that, you'll be totally fine with this thing. It'll cut down. If you're on the smaller side like I am, you don't have to worry about all those vibrations going up through your legs where you're like, man, I just rode a whole day and I can barely walk now. It's not gonna be like that. This thing has definitely come leaps and bounds from pretty much where it started 20 years ago to where it is now. It's amazing. Like, this thing actually rides really well, and I can't reiterate that enough. Rider in mind. This binding is made for somebody with an extensive quiver, but only one set of bindings. They want to be able to take one to go to pretty much any board out there and still be able to have fun on it, where you feel nice and locked in, but you still get a little bit of play to the sides. So it's not the most like just foot clamp binding out there, but they just want something on the damper side that's going to be nice and responsive, but still have a little bit of play to it. If you're looking for another way to get involved in the Angry Snowboarder community, head on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP. What is it, you might ask? Sure, I could explain it here, but we have a great video over there getting into it really in depth. I really like this binding. I think it is one of, if not my favorite A-series binding that they've made. And honestly, the way this thing rides is you don't even need a C-series version of it. Because of how damp it is and pretty much how responsive it is, you don't need that composite chassis because of this urethane pad that has done so much. Like, I absolutely love it. The ankle straps, super comfortable, nice and big, distributes all of that pressure and weight really well. Just overall, super solid binding, and I'm super stoked on it, guys. Like, Ride, you guys crushed it. I think this was definitely needed because as people get older that grew up on your aluminum chassis bindings, you know, they start breaking down. The people, they just can't handle it as they get older. And this one is great for that because it is damp enough to really not crush your back, send all those vibrations up. This thing is truly comfortable and really nice and responsive. Like, anybody can get on this binding and have a great time, I think. Like, even if you're about to fall apart because you got no cartilage in your knee, it'll still work for you. Like, it is that good of a binding, and I'm claiming it right now. One of my favorite out there so far. Comparable bindings: the Union Force, the Rome Katana, and the Yes Airmaster. As always, guys, I've been your host TC, and this has been my review of the new Ride drone binding. If this just doesn't sound like the binding for you, or you're still a little skeptical on it, why don't you go check out one of the videos for the comparable bindings, and that way you know you're making an informed decision.